In a certain faraway Tsardom, not in this empire, there lived a Tsar named Vasnetsov, who had 3 sons, the first Tsarevich Dmitri, the second Tsarevich Vasily, and the third Tsarevich Ivan. The Tsar had a walled garden so rich and beautiful that in no kingdom of the world was there a more splendid one. Many rare trees grew in it, whose fruits were precious jewels, and the rarest of all was an apple tree whose apples were of pure gold, and this the Tsar loved best of all. One day, he saw that one of the golden apples was missing. He placed guards at all gates of the garden, but in spite of this, each morning on counting he found one more apple gone. At length he set men on the wall to watch day and night, and these reported to him that every night there came flying into the garden a bird that shone like the moon, whose feathers were gold and its eyes like crystal, which perched on the apple tree, plucked a golden apple and flew away. Tsar Vasnetsov was greatly angered, and calling to him his 2 eldest sons, said, "My dear children, I have for many days sought to decide which one of you should inherit my tsardom and reign after me. Now therefore, to the one of you who will catch the glowing bird, which is the thief of my golden apples, and will bring it to me alive, I will during my life give the half of the tsardom, and he shall rule after me when I am dead." The 2 sons, hearing, rejoiced and shouted with one voice, "Gracious sir, we shall not fail to bring you the glowing bird alive." Tsarevich Dmitri and Tsarevich Vasily cast lots to see who should have the first trial, and the lot fell to the eldest, Tsarevich Dmitri, who at evening went into the garden to watch. He sat down under the apple tree and watched till midnight, but when midnight passed, he fell asleep. In the morning, the Tsar summoned him and said, "Well, my son, didst thou see the glowing bird who steals my golden apples?" Being ashamed to confess that he had fallen asleep, however, Tsarevich Dmitri answered, "No, gracious sir, last night the bird did not visit thy garden." The Tsar, however, went himself and counted the apples and saw that one more had been stolen. On the next evening, Tsarevich Vasily went into the garden to watch, and he too fell asleep at midnight. And next morning when his father summoned him, he, like his brother, being ashamed to tell the truth, answered, "Gracious sir, I watched throughout the night, but the glowing bird that steals the golden apples did not enter thy garden." And again, Tsar Vasnetsov went himself and counted, and saw that another golden apple was missing. On the 3rd evening, Tsarevich Ivan asked permission to watch in the garden, but his father would not permit it. "Thou art but a lad," he said, "and mightest be frightened in the long, dark night." But Ivan continued to beseech him till at length the Tsar consented. So Tsarevich Ivan took his place in the garden and sat down to watch under the apple tree that bore the golden apples. He watched an hour, 2 hours, 3. When midnight drew near, sleep almost overcame him, but he drew his dagger and pricked his thigh with its point till the pain awoke him. And suddenly, an hour after midnight, the garden became bright as if with the light of many fires, and the glowing bird came flying on its golden wings to alight on the lowest bough of the apple tree. Tsarevich Ivan crept nearer, and as it was about to pluck a golden apple in its beak, he sprang toward it and seized its tail. The bird, however, beating with its golden wings, tore itself loose and flew away, leaving in his hand a single long feather. He wrapped this in a handkerchief, lay down on the ground, and went to sleep. In the morning, Tsar Vasnetsov summoned him to his presence and said, "Well, my dear son, thou didst not, I suppose, see the glowing bird." Then Tsarevich Ivan unrolled the handkerchief, and the feather shone so that the whole place was bright with it. The Tsar could not sufficiently admire it, for when it was brought into a darkened room, it gleamed as if 100 candles had been lit. He put it into his royal treasury as a thing which must be safely kept forever, and set many watchmen about the garden hoping to snare the glowing bird, but it came no more for the golden apples. Then Tsar Vasnetsov, greatly desiring it, sent for his 2 eldest sons and said, "Yea, my sons failed even to see the thief of my apples, yet thy brother Ivan has at least brought me one of its feathers. Take horse now with my blessing, and ride in search of it, and to the one of you who brings it to me alive will I give the half of my tsardom." And the Tsareviches Dmitri and Wasily, envious of their younger brother Ivan, rejoiced that their father did not bid him also go, and mounting their swift horses, rode away gladly, both of them, in search of the glowing bird. They rode for 3 days, whether by a near or a far road, or on highland or lowland. The tale is soon told, but the journey is not done quickly, till they came to a green plain from which centre 3 roads started, and there a great stone was set with these words carved upon it: "Who rides straight forward shall know both hunger and cold. Who rides to the right shall live, though his steed be dead. Who rides to the left shall die, though his steed shall live." They were uncertain what to do, since none of the 3 roads promised well, and turning aside into a pleasant wood, pitched their silken tents, and gave themselves over to rest and idle enjoyment. Now when days had passed, and they did not return, Tsarevich Ivan besought his father to give him also his blessing, with leave to ride forth to search for the glowing bird, but Tsar Vaislav denied him, saying, "My dear son, the wolves will devour thee. Thou art still young, and unused to far and difficult journeying. Enough that thy brothers have gone from me. I am already old at age, and walk under the eye of God. If he take away my life, and thou too art gone, who will remain to keep order in my tsardom? Rebellion may arise, and there will be no one to quell it, or an enemy may cross our borders, and there will be no one to command our troops. Seek not therefore to leave me." In spite of all, however, Tsarevich Ivan would not leave off his beseeching till at length his father consented, and he took Tsar Vaislav's blessing, chose a swift horse for his use, and rode away he knew not whither. 3 days he rode, till he came to the green plain, whence the 3 ways started, and read the words carved on the great stone which stood there. "I may not take the left road lest I die," he thought, "nor the middle road lest I know hunger and cold. Rather will I take the right-hand road, whereon, though my poor horse perish, I at least shall keep my life." So he reined to the right. He rode 1 day, 2 days, 3, and on the morning of the 4th day, as he led his horse through a forest, a great grey wolf leaped from a thicket. "Thou art a brave lad, Tsarevich Ivan," said the wolf, "but didst thou not read what was written on the rock?" When the wolf had spoken these words, he seized the horse, and tearing it to pieces, devoured it and disappeared. Tsarevich Ivan wept bitterly over the loss of his horse. The whole day he walked, till his weariness could not be told in a tale. He was near to faint from weakness, when he met the grey wolf again. "Thou art a brave lad, Tsarevich Ivan," said the wolf, "and for this reason I feel pity for thee. I have eaten thy good horse, but I will serve thee a service in payment. Sit now on my back and say whither I shall bear thee and wherefore." Tsarevich Ivan seated himself on the back of the wolf joyfully enough. "Take me, grey wolf," he said, "to the glowing bird that stole my father's golden apples." And instantly the wolf sped away 20 times swifter than the swiftest horse. In the middle of the night, he stopped at a stone wall. "Get down from my back, Tsarevich Ivan," said the wolf, "and climb over this wall. On the other side is a garden, and in the garden is an iron railing, and behind the railing 3 cages are hung, one of copper, one of silver, and one of gold. In the copper cage is a crow, in the silver one is a jackdaw, and in the golden cage is the glowing bird. Open the door of the golden cage, take out the glowing bird, and wrap it in thy handkerchief. But on no account take the golden cage. If thou dost, great misfortune will follow." Tsarevich Ivan climbed the wall, entered the iron railing, and found the 3 cages as the grey wolf had said. He took out the glowing bird and wrapped it in his handkerchief, but he could not bear to leave the beautiful golden cage behind. The moment he stretched out his hand and took it, a great noise of clanging bells and the twanging of musical instruments tied to the cage by many invisible cords sounded throughout all the garden, and 50 watchmen, waking, came running into the garden. They seized Tsarevich Ivan, and in the morning they brought him before their Tsar, who was called Dolmat. Tsar Dolmat was greatly angered and shouted in a loud voice, "How now? This is a fine, bold-handed Cossack to be caught in such a shameful theft. Who art thou? From what country comest thou? Of what father art thou son, and how art thou named?" "I come from the Tsardom of Wyslav," answered Tsarevich Ivan, "son of Tsar Vyslav, and I am called Ivan. Thy glowing bird entered my father's garden by night, and stole many golden apples from his favourite tree. Therefore the Tsar, my father, sent me to find and bring to him the thief." "And how should I know that thou speakest truth?" answered Tsar Dolmat. "Hadst thou come to me first, I would have given thee the glowing bird with honour. How will it be with thee now when I send into all Tsardoms, declaring how thou hast acted shamefully in my borders? However, Tsarevich Ivan, I will excuse thee this if thou wilt serve me a certain service. If thou wilt ride across 3 times 9 countries to the 30th Tsardom of Tsar Afron, and wilt win for me from him the horse with the golden mane, which his father promised me and which is mine by right, then will I give to thee with all joy the glowing bird. But if thou dost not serve me this service, then will I declare throughout all Tsardoms that thou art a thief, unworthy to share thy father's honours." Tsarevich Ivan went out from Tsar Dolmat in great grief. He found the grey wolf and related to him the whole. "Thou art a foolish youth, Tsarevich Ivan," said the wolf. "Why didst thou not recall my words and leave the golden cage?" "I am guilty before thee," answered Ivan sorrowfully. "Well," said the grey wolf, "I will help thee. Sit on my back and say whither I shall bear thee and wherefore." So Tsarevich Ivan mounted the wolf's back a second time. "Take me, grey wolf," he said, "across 3 times 9 countries to the 30th Tsardom, to Tsar Afron's horse with the golden mane." At once the wolf began running, 50 times swifter than the swiftest horse. Whether it was a long way or a short way, in the middle of the night he came to the 30th Tsardom, to Tsar Afron's palace, and stopped beside the royal stables, which were built all of white stone. "Now, Tsarevich Ivan," said the wolf, "get down from my back and open the door. The stablemen are all fast asleep, and thou mayest win the horse with the golden mane. Only take not the golden bridle that hangs beside it. If thou takest that, great ill will befall thee." Tsarevich Ivan opened the door of the stables, and there he saw the horse with the golden mane, whose brightness was such that the whole stall was lit by it. But as he was leading it out, he saw the golden bridle, and its beauty tempted him to take it also. Scarcely had he touched it, however, there arose a great clanging and thundering, for the bridle was tied by many cords to instruments of brass. The noise awakened the stablemen, who came running, 100 of them, and seized Tsarevich Ivan, and in the morning led him before Tsar Afron. The Tsar was much surprised to see such gallant youth accused of such a theft. "What I," he said, "thou art a goodly lad to be a robber of my horses. Tell me from what Tsardom dost thou come, son of what father art thou, and what is thy name?" "I come from the Tsardom of Tsar Vyslav," replied Tsarevich Ivan, "whose son I am, and my name is Ivan. Tsar Dolmat laid upon me this service, that I bring him the horse with the golden mane, that thy father promised him, and that is his by right. Hadst thou come with such a word from Tsar Dolmat," answered Tsar Afron, "I would have given thee the horse with honour, and thou needst not have taken it from me by stealth. How will it be with thee when I send my heralds into all Tsardoms, declaring thee, a Tsar's son, to be a thief? However, Tsarevich Ivan, I will excuse thee this if thou wilt serve me a certain service. Thou shalt ride over 3 times 9 lands to the country of the Tsar, whose daughter is known as Helen the Beautiful, and bring me that Tsarevna to be my wife, for I have loved her for long with my soul and my heart, and yet cannot win her. Do this and I will forgive thee this fault, and will give thee the horse with the golden mane and the golden bridle also for Tsar Dolmat with joy. But if thou dost not serve me this service, then will I name thee as a shameful thief in all Tsardoms." Tsarevich Ivan went out from the splendid palace weeping many tears, and came to the grey wolf and told him all that had befallen. "Thou hast again been a foolish youth," said the wolf. "Why didst thou not remember my warning not to touch the golden bridle?" "Grey Wolf," said Ivan, still weeping, "I am guilty before thee." "Well," said the wolf, "be it so. I will help thee. Sit upon my back and say whither I shall bear thee and wherefore." So Tsarevich Ivan wiped away his tears and mounted the wolf's back a third time. "Take me, Grey Wolf," he said, "across 3 times 9 lands to the Tsarevna who is called Helen the Beautiful." And straightway the wolf began running, 100 times swifter than the swiftest horse, faster than one can tell in a tale, until he came to the country of the beautiful princess. At length, he stopped at a golden railing surrounding a lovely garden. "Get down now, Tsarevich Ivan," said the wolf. "Go back along the road by which we came, and wait for me in the open field under the green oak tree." So Tsarevich Ivan did as he was bidden. But as for the grey wolf, he waited there. Towards evening, when the sun was very low and its rays were no longer hot, the Tsar's daughter, Helen the Beautiful, went into the garden to walk with her nurse and the ladies in waiting of the court. When she came near, suddenly, the grey wolf leapt over the railing into the garden, seized her, and ran off with her more swiftly than 20 horses. He ran to the open field, to the green oak tree where Tsarevich Ivan was waiting, and set her down beside him. Helen the Beautiful had been greatly frightened, but dried her tears quickly when she saw the handsome youth. "Mount my back, Tsarevich Ivan," said the wolf, "and take the Tsarevna in your arms." Tsarevich Ivan sat on the grey wolf's back and took Helen the Beautiful in his arms, and the wolf began running more swiftly than 50 horses across the 3 times 9 countries back to the Tsardom of Tsar Afron. The nurse and ladies in waiting of the Tsarevna hastened to the palace, and the Tsar sent many troops to pursue them, but fast as they went, they could not overtake the grey wolf. Sitting on the wolf's back with the Tsar's beautiful daughter in his arms, Tsarevich Ivan loved her with his heart and soul, and Helen the Beautiful fell in love with him also, so that when the grey wolf came to the country of Tsar Afron, to whom she was to be given, tears came to Ivan's eyes. "Why dost thou weep, Tsarevich Ivan?" asked the wolf, and Ivan answered, "Grey wolf, my friend, why should I not weep and be desolate? I myself fell in love with Helen the Beautiful, yet now I must give her up to Tsar Afron for the horse with the golden mane. For if I do not, then Tsar Afron will dishonour my name in all countries." "I have served thee in much, Tsarevich Ivan," said the grey wolf, "but I will also do thee this service. Listen, when we come near the palace I will take the shape of the Tsar's daughter, and thou shalt lead me to Tsar Afron and shalt take the horse with the golden mane in exchange. Thou shalt mount him and ride far away. Then I will ask to walk on the open steppe, and when I am on the steppe with the court ladies in waiting, thou hast only to think of me, the grey wolf, and I shall come once more to thee." As soon as the wolf had uttered these words, he beat his paw against the damp ground, and instantly he took the shape of the Tsar's beautiful daughter, so like to her that no one in the world could have told that he was not the Tsarevna herself. Then, bidding Helen the Beautiful wait for him outside the walls, Tsarevich Ivan led the grey wolf into the palace to Tsar Afron. The Tsar, thinking at last he had won the treasure he had so long desired as his wife, was very joyful and gave Tsarevich Ivan the horse with the golden mane and the golden bridle for Tsar Dolmat. And Tsarevich Ivan, mounting, rode outside the walls to the real Helen the Beautiful, put her before him on the saddle, and set out across the 3 times 9 countries back to the Tsardom of Tsar Dolmat. As to the grey wolf, he spent 1 day, 2 days, 3 in Tsar Afron's palace, all the while having the shape of the beautiful Tsarevna, while the Tsar made preparations for a splendid bridal. On the 4th day, he asked the Tsar's permission to go for a walk on the open steppe. "O my beautiful Tsar's daughter," said Tsar Afron, "I grant thee whatever thou mayest wish. Go then and walk where it pleaseth thee, and perchance it will soothe thy grief and sorrow at parting from thy father." So he ordered serving women and all the ladies in waiting of the court to walk with her. But all at once, as they walked on the open steppe, Tsarevich Ivan, far away, riding with the real Helen the Beautiful on the horse with the golden mane, suddenly bethought himself and cried, Grey wolf, I am thinking of thee now. Where art thou?" At that very moment, the false princess, walking with the ladies in waiting of Tsar Afron's court, turned into the grey wolf, who ran off more swiftly than 70 horses. The ladies in waiting hastened to the palace, and Tsar Afron sent many soldiers in pursuit, but they could not catch the grey wolf, and soon he overtook Tsarevich Ivan. "Mount my back, Tsarevich Ivan," said the wolf, "and let Helen the Beautiful ride the horse with the golden mane." Tsarevich Ivan mounted the grey wolf, and the Tsarevna rode the horse with the golden mane, and so they went on together to the Tsardom of Tsar Dolmat, in whose garden the cage with the glowing bird hung. Whether the way was a long one or a short one, at length they came near to Tsar Dolmat's palace. Then Tsarevich Ivan, getting down from the wolf's back, said, "Grey wolf, my dear friend, thou hast served me many services. Serve me also one more, the last and greatest. If thou canst take the shape of Helen the Beautiful, thou canst take also that of this horse with the golden mane. Do this, and let me deliver thee to Tsar Dolmat in exchange for the glowing bird. Then, when I am far away on the road to my own tsardom, thou canst again rejoin us." "So be it," said the wolf, and beat his paw against the dry ground, and immediately he took the shape of the horse with the golden mane, so like to that the princess rode that no one could have told one from the other. Tsarevich Ivan, leaving Helen the Beautiful on the green lawn with the real horse with the golden mane, mounted and rode to the palace gate. When Tsar Dolmat saw Tsarevich Ivan riding on the false horse with the golden mane, he rejoiced exceedingly. He came out in the courtyard, embraced Ivan and kissed him on both cheeks, and taking his right hand led him into his splendid rooms. He made a great festival, and they sat at oak tables covered with embroidered cloths, and ate and drank merrily for 2 days. On the third day, the Tsar gave Tsarevich Ivan the glowing bird in its golden cage. Ivan took it, went to the green lawn where he had left Helen the Beautiful, mounted the real horse with the golden mane, set the Tsarevna on the saddle before him, and together they rode away across the 3 times 9 lands towards his native country, the Tsardom of Tsarevich. As to Tsar Dolmat, for 2 days he admired the false horse with the golden mane, and on the third day he desired to ride it. He gave orders to saddle it and rode to the open steppe. But as he was riding, it chanced that Tsarevich Ivan, far away with Helen the Beautiful, all at once remembered his promise and cried, Grey wolf, I am thinking of thee." And at that very second, the horse Tsar Dolmat rode threw the Tsar from its back and turned into the grey wolf, who ran off more swiftly than 100 horses. Tsar Dolmat hastened to the palace and sent many soldiers in pursuit, but they could not catch the grey wolf, and soon he overtook the horse with the golden mane that bore Tsarevich Ivan and the Tsarevna. "Get down, Tsarevich Ivan," said the wolf. "Mount my back and let Helen the Beautiful ride the horse with the golden mane." So Tsarevich Ivan mounted the grey wolf, and the Tsarevna rode the horse with the golden mane, and at length they came to the forest where the wolf had devoured Tsarevich Ivan's horse. There the grey wolf stopped. "Well, Tsarevich Ivan," he said, "I have paid for thy horse and have served thee in faith and truth. Get down now, I am no longer thy servant." Tsarevich Ivan got down from the wolf's back, weeping many tears that they should part. The grey wolf leaped into a thicket and disappeared. Tsarevich Ivan mounted the horse with the golden mane, with Helen the Beautiful in his arms and with a golden cage, in which the glowing bird was captured, and they rode to the palace of Tsarevich. They rode for 3 days, till they came to the green plain where the 3 ways met, and where the great stone stood. Being very tired, the Tsarevich and the Tsarevna dismounted here and lay down to rest. He tied the horse with the golden mane to the stone, and lying lovingly, side by side, on the soft grass, they fell asleep. Now it happened that the 2 elder brothers of Ivan, Tsarevich Dmitri and Tsarevich Vasily, tired of their amusements in the woods and being minded to return to their father without the glowing bird, came riding past the spot and found their brother lying asleep with Helen the Beautiful beside him. Seeing not only that he had found the glowing bird, but a horse with a mane of gold and a lovely princess, they got envious, and Tsarevich Dmitri drew his sword, stabbed Tsarevich Ivan to death, and cut his body into small pieces. They then awoke Helen the Beautiful and began to question her. "Lovely stranger," they asked, "from what tsardom dost thou come? Of what father art thou, daughter? And how art thou named?" Helen the Beautiful, being roughly awakened and seeing Tsarevich Ivan dead, was greatly frightened and cried with bitter tears, "I am the Tsar's daughter, Helen the Beautiful, and I belong to Tsarevich Ivan, whom ye have put to a cruel death. If ye were brave knights, ye had ridden against him in the open field, then might ye have been victorious over him with honour. But instead of that ye have slain him when he was asleep. What praise will such an act receive?" But Tsarevich Vasily set the point of his sword against her breast and said, "Listen, Helen the Beautiful, thou art now in our hands. We shall bring thee to our little father, Tsar Vyacheslav, and thou shalt tell him that we found the glowing bird, and won the horse with the golden mane and thine own lovely self. If thou dost not swear by all holy things to say this, then this moment will we put thee to death." And the beautiful Tsar's daughter, frightened by their threats, swore that she would speak as they commanded. Tsarevich Dmitri and Tsarevich Vasily cast lots to see who should take Helen the Beautiful and who the horse with the golden mane and the glowing bird. The princess fell to Tsarevich Vasily, and the horse and the bird to Tsarevich Dmitri. And Tsarevich Vasily took Helen the Beautiful on his horse, and Tsarevich Dmitri took the glowing bird and the horse with the golden mane, and both rode swiftly to the palace of their father, Tsar Vyacheslav. The Tsar rejoiced greatly to see them. To Tsarevich Dmitri, since he had brought him the glowing bird, he gave the half of his tsardom, and he made a festival which lasted a whole month, at the end of which Tsarevich Vasily was to wed the princess Helen the Beautiful. As for Tsarevich Ivan, dead and cut into pieces, he lay on the green plain for 30 days, and on the 31st day it chanced that the grey wolf passed that way. He knew at once by his keen scent that the body was that of Tsarevich Ivan. While he sat grieving for his friend, there came flying an iron-beaked she-crow with 2 fledglings, who alighted on the ground and would have eaten of the flesh. But the wolf leaped up and seized one of the young birds. Then the mother crow, flying to a little distance, said to him, "O grey wolf, wolf's son, do not devour my little child, since it has in no way harmed thee." And the grey wolf answered, "Listen, crow, crow's daughter. Serve me a certain service, and I will not harm thy fledgling. I have heard that across 3 times 9 countries, in the 30th tsardom, are 2 springs, so placed that none save a bird can come to them, the one that has the water of death, and the other the water of life. Bring me 2 bottles of these waters, and I will let thy fledgling go safe and sound. But if thou dost not, I will tear it into pieces and devour it." "I will indeed do thee this service, grey wolf," said the crow, "only harm not my child," and immediately flew away as swiftly as an arrow. The grey wolf waited 1 day, 2 days, 3, and on the 4th day the she-crow came flying with 2 little bottles of water in her beak. The grey wolf tore the fledgling into pieces. He sprinkled the pieces with the water of death, and they instantly grew together. He sprinkled the dead body with the water of life, and the fledgling shook itself and flew away, with the she-crow safe and sound. The grey wolf then sprinkled the pieces of Tsarevich Ivan's body with the water of death, and as they grew together, he sprinkled the dead body with the water of life. And Tsarevich Ivan stood up, stretched himself, and said, "How long I must have slept." "Yes, Tsarevich Ivan," the grey wolf said, "and thou wouldst have slept forever had it not been me. For thy brothers cut thee into pieces and took the beautiful Tsar's daughter, the horse with the golden mane and the glowing bird with them. Make haste now and mount on my back, for thy brother Tsarevich Vasily today is to wed thy Helen the Beautiful." Tsarevich Ivan made haste to mount, and the grey wolf began running, swifter than 100 horses, toward the palace of Tsar Vaslav. Whether the way was long or short, he came soon to the city, and there at the gate the grey wolf stopped. "Get down now, Tsarevich Ivan," he said. "I am no longer a servant of thine, and thou shalt see me no more. But sometimes remember the journeys thou hast made on the back of the grey wolf." Tsarevich Ivan got down, and having bade the wolf farewell with tears, entered the city and went at once to the palace, where Tsarevich Vasily was being wed to Helen the Beautiful. He entered the splendid rooms and came where they sat at the table, and as soon as Helen the Beautiful saw him, she sprang up from her seat and kissed him on the lips, crying, "This is my beloved, Tsarevich Ivan, who shall wed me, and not this wicked one, Tsarevich Vasily, who sits with me at the table." Tsar Vaslav rose up and questioned Helen the Beautiful, and she revealed to him the whole, how Tsarevich Ivan had won her, with the horse with the golden mane and the glowing bird, and how his 2 elder brothers had slain him as he lay asleep, and had threatened her with death so that she should say what they bade. Tsar Vaslav, hearing, was angered like a great river in a storm. He commanded that the Tsareviches Dmitri and Vasily be seized and thrown into prison, and Tsarevich Ivan that same day was wed to Princess Helen the Beautiful. The Tsar made a great feast, and all the people drank wine and mead till it ran down their beards, and the festival lasted many days till there was no one hungry or thirsty in the whole Tsardom. And when the rejoicing was ended, the 2 elder brothers were made one a scullion and the other a cowherd. As for Tsarevich Ivan, he lived happily with Helen the Beautiful in such harmony and love that neither of them could bear to be without the other, even for a single moment.